So when it feels like crazy things are happening in the world, it can be tempting to put our healthy habits on hold and wait till things get back to normal. So listen on to discover why these uncertain times are actually an opportunity and the best time to be working on improving our health. So welcome to Joyful Eating, episode 215. So today we're talking about why these crazy uncertain times are actually surprisingly the best time to be working on improving our health. But before we get into the episode, best bite I had on the weekend, we pretty much most weekends we barbecue steak. My Irishman have barbecued amazing T-bone that we get from a local farmer. And I have an abundance of zucchini. I mean, I have abundance of zucchini and also cucumbers. And so I've been obsessed with making tzatziki, which I had never made before because my Irishman doesn't eat cucumber and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, decided I saw a recipe somewhere. I was like, no, I'm going to get really good at making tzatziki. So I made this tzatziki with a little bit of preserved lemon in it, chopped up. So it had that extra zesty and those aromatics and just, dill, Greek yogurt, cucumber, and a heap of garlic. And then, so I had that with the steak. My Irishman had mustard with his, and had it with olives, and then sliced cucumber. I had mine with extra sliced cucumber, and it was just such a good combination, not a traditional combination of steak with Greek yogurt, Greek sauce, but it worked really well because they had the meatiness, but then it had that freshness and then the crunch of the cucumber. So yeah, it was really good. I'm loving my tzatziki at the moment. Okay, so in this episode, we're going to, first of all, I'm going to share with you the story behind this episode, like why we're talking about this now. And then I'm going to talk about why it's natural that our human brains want to put our health on hold when the world seems uncertain like it does at the moment. And then we're going to talk about why that's a mistake and how actually these times when things are going a bit crazy is actually an opportunity and actually the best time to be working on improving our health. And then I'm going to share with you one baby step that you can implement today to help you start feeling better about the world. Okay, so story behind this episode is a few weeks ago I was talking to one of my friends that lived in LA, and she was talking about her experience of the fires. Her house is fine, of course, but how stressful that was. And she noticed herself in that time using food to comfort herself a little bit more than normal. And then recently I was talking to another friend who lives in Miami, and she was just telling me all the crazy things that are happening in the US government, like with the change of government, with policy and all sorts of things. He's really up on it. And she was like, the world's going really crazy. And then she was saying that, they're out of eggs because there's been some avian flu. And so there's scarcity of eggs in the US at the moment. And when she was telling me this, and I was like, whoa. And I just had this feeling, it's like that flashback to the beginning of 2020 in those early days of COVID, when we were kind of realizing, oh, stuff's closing down. This has never happened before. Things are really weird. I can't get toilet paper at the grocery store. And I just felt that sense of, oh yeah, there's kind of a similarity here. We're heading into that uncertainty again. And that got me thinking about how many people I've worked with in the Naturally Healthy Club who came to me after COVID going, oh, weight was always a problem, or it hadn't been great before COVID. And then going through that period, they'd gained weight. And so then, of course, we did the work to help them get it off, and also to do the work to help them navigate these uncertain times. But the rest of the world needs to know that there's another option. Just because the world's going crazy doesn't mean that we need to pack on a heap of weight or let our health go on the gurgler. So first, let's talk. That's why I thought I'd do an episode on this. And I think first, as always, how understanding why our brains want to do this is really helpful, so we can have some compassion with ourselves. It's a natural human reaction that we don't like uncertainty. And so when things feel uncertain, we want to keep ourselves safe. We want to hunker down and just stay in the cave and not go anywhere and not try anything new and just focus on survival, right? Which in caveman days, maybe that was a good strategy, but in modern times, that what ends up happening is that we get those situations like COVID where we end up using the uncertainty as an excuse to let go of our habits and to eat more than we normally would and comfort ourselves with food and do things that we wouldn't normally do, or reduce our exercise. And when that happens, our health suffers. And the thing is, when we're not feeling great in ourselves and we're not taking good care of ourselves, it backfires, because then we have even less capacity and energy and capacity to, and mental bandwidth to navigate the difficult time that we're living through. And so I think that, yeah, of course, there's a reason why our brains want to keep us safe, but actually keeping us safe isn't a great strategy anymore. And I think just understanding that is really helpful. And the other thing I think that can be real, that I find really comforting and really helpful to understand, is just this idea that it always seems like, oh yeah, like this is a problem, this is a crisis now, but in the future there's going to be this time where it's all smooth sailing. And we have this, even though we know it's not, like when you say that out loud, you go, no, of course not. There's always going to be problems. But when in our brains, we kind of feel like we live our lives as though, oh yeah, like one day when I get to this place where I'm not so stressed at work and and the world isn't falling apart, I'll work on my health then, and I'll do that one day in the future. And the thing is that just makes us delay, or it puts off forever us actually changing it and taking good care of ourselves. So yeah, what we want to do is just shine a light on that and have some compassion. And it's like, yeah, of course this feels awful. And of course, it would be great if we didn't have to live through this. And also, let's not make the situation worse. Let's not use this as a time to feel even worse than we currently do. Let's use it as an opportunity. And so I think why this is the best time to do work on our health is because when there are problems in the world that we have no control over, who's in government. Of course, if you're in the US, you can vote, but however, it is what it is, right? And when we're in uncertain times and the world feels like it's going crazy, then there isn't anything we can do about that. However, when we do, we can control how we respond to whatever's happening in the world, and we can control what we choose to focus on. And so we can spend our time focusing on how crazy the world is and how it's falling apart, and just start to feel worse and worse and more out of control and more powerless and just blah. Or we can actually choose to go, okay, no, this isn't great. However, we can accept that this is what's going on in the world. This is what we're dealing with. And then also recognize that actually me taking good care of myself is more important than ever. When things are going crazy, me feeling good in myself, something that I can control, is so important. It's the most important thing. Taking good care of ourselves is important at all times, but when things are really crazy, it's the best. And the cool thing is that when we focus internally on the things that we can change, that helps us make sense, or not necessarily make sense, but it helps us to feel a little bit more empowered in an uncertain time. And it helps us to be in a place where we're able to see solutions, and we're able to handle the craziness in the best way we can, and we're giving ourselves the best opportunities. So that's why I actually think, yeah, of course it sucks. However, also and so many people there are people I know that used the time of COVID and that uncertainty to really do some work on themselves and change some things about themselves that they weren't happy about, and ended up coming out of COVID stronger. So I guess I wanted to record this episode to give you you have the opportunity here to make a difference to your health that's going to not only help you get through uncertain times, however, it's going to be an investment that helps you navigate the problems that are going to arise in the future as well, and to be that person who has resilience and strength, and who then is better equipped to take care of themselves and also to take care of other people. So yeah, I really love seeing these adversities as a gift. And so, great. Now I've sold you on the idea that actually now is a great time to do some work on yourself, to not just let everything go, to actually focus on what you can control, i.e. yourself. What's one baby step that you can take? I was thinking about this, what do I want to, because of course there are a million things you could do, but what one little tiny thing is going to help you feel that sense of it's going to be okay. And what I really recommend experimenting with this week is just whenever you sit down to eat, just taking a really tiny step of just taking one mindful bite where you put away your distractions and focus on the food, have a look at the food, appreciate what you can about the visuals, and just practice being in the present moment with the food. Because the more, and the reason for this is and I've been doing a lot of work on myself around this, of just being more present and less regretting the past and less worrying about the future. It really calms down my nervous system. It feels really good. And yeah, it's one of the best, I think it's one of the best things you can do for your mental health, which is ultimately one of the best things you can do for your health, because without your mental health, then you don't have that's such an important aspect of health that's often overlooked. So being mindful, being in the present moment is so key to this. And so a baby step that you can take is to just set that intention of, okay, the first bite that I have, if I'm having a sandwich, I'm just going to really focus on that first bite. Smell the food, actually feel it in your mouth. Notice how the flavor changes, like when you first put it in, and then how it changes as you chew, and then also after you swallow, is there an aftertaste? And just bring that curiosity. And you can just, of course, if you want to do it for the whole meal, amazing. But if you just experiment with just that first bite, when your senses are the most heightened, it'll just help you feel that sense of calm and feel like, yeah, I am doing something this is me nourishing myself and taking good care of myself. And then, repeat anytime you're eating, if you like, as little or as often as you like. Okay, so before we wrap up, I have an invitation for you. So if you want to use the uncertainty of this year, 2025, to actually improve your health and set yourself up for the future and for the future problems that are going to come our way, unfortunately, so that you feel resilient to handle these crazy times and whatever happens in the future, then I'd love you to check out my new free on-demand workshop. So it's called How to Change Your Relationship with Food with Ease and Joy. So you feel that peace, and so you feel peace around food and weight, and your clothes fit again for the long term, even if you're in middle age, even if the world feels like it's going crazy. But in this 30-minute workshop that you can just access straight away, you're going to discover the only three essential skills for a naturally healthy relationship with food, so you can reach and stay at your natural weight with ease. We're going to look at the 3 phases of healthy eating, so you know exactly where you are now and also where you want to get to. I'm going to share with you my counterintuitive, simple approach to nutrition. So that's going to cut through the conflicting information that we have in the world around what to eat, and help you feel empowered and in control. And then finally, I'm going to also share with you the easiest way to take the first baby step to changing a relationship with food, so you actually get more enjoyment from eating and you don't feel like you're missing out. So to get instant access to the workshop, see the link in the show notes, or if you Google Stone Soup, just one word, stone is in rock, soup is in a bowl of, and click on Work With Me and go to the Naturally Healthy page. That will take you to the sign up details to get access to the workshop. So it's crazy times, but we can do this. Okay, have a beautiful week, and I'll see you next week.